Greetings, this is Steve, your desk-bound aviator, and the video you're about to look at was made for my grandson, who's 10 years old and lives in Vienna, Austria. He's not a pilot, but he might like to be someday, so I thought I'd do a video for him to show him what it's like. We're going to take a flight here today in Seattle. You're looking at KSEA, the airport in Seattle. We're going to fly up over West Seattle, where Ben used to live. Take a look at the neighborhood around where his house was, his school, and where his other grandparents live, and then do a little loop around Seattle and then come back down and land here. So I invite you to come along for the ride. If you enjoy it, let me know. So here we go. Hi, Ben. This is Grandpa Steve. I thought maybe you'd enjoy taking a flight with me. And so what we're looking at here is an airplane called the Cessna 210T. The Cessna 210T, that's the model of the aircraft that we're going to do today. And you can see on the front here it says Turbo Centurion, which is another name for it, and it's a Cessna. That's the company that manufactures this airplane. It's got a single propeller in the front, a single engine, and it's a pretty small aircraft, but it's a very nice one and a lot of fun to fly. We're located here at SeaTac Airport. You remember SeaTac Airport when you lived in Seattle? Not far from where you guys lived. There's Mount Rainier off there in the distance. So we're going to fly here from the airport and do a kind of loop down this runway and then loop back up to the north and fly right over your house and maybe your school, see where you guys used to live. And then maybe we'll fly over Grandpa and Grandma's house up in the north end of West Seattle and then do a little loop around the city, see some of the sights there, and then come back here and land again. Okay, so you ready? Let's jump inside. Let's see, we've got to get some things adjusted here. So the first thing we've got to do is look down here on this lower panel and turn a switch here that changes the fuel tanks. We've got two fuel tanks on board. We're going to use the left one here right now. This lever here opens up an air vent. And then these levers here control your fuel to the airplane. And I'm going to push that guy forward and this guy forward and this guy forward as well, all three of them. This is your throttle here that makes the airplane go faster. So having done all of that, we'll take a look over here, some switches. And I'm going to switch on this yellow switch here. First I have to put on the battery. And then I want to rotate this key 3 times. This warms up the magnetos in the engine, which help the engine run. And I'm going to turn this switch to the fuel pump to start. And then we'll take a look up here and we'll see that this needle has jumped up from 0 up here to the 5.5 point, which is good. So we'll come back down here and we can turn that pump off. And now we can rotate the key to start. We should see our prop spinning. Whoops, let's not go taking off just yet. You can see the prop spinning up ahead. All right, let's come back down here. Now we'll turn on the alternator switch and some lights, like so. And this thing keeps the prop nice and comfortable. And that's about it. All right, so we have been given clearance by traffic control, air traffic control at the airport. We can go ahead and take off. So what I'll do is release the park brake and then slowly increase the throttle and we start to roll. Now, you can keep track of our speed over here. This is the speedometer, and you measure speed in an airplane in knots, K-N-O-T-S. So we're going to go up to about maybe 70 knots or so, and then we'll pull back on the yoke and take off. And you can see the yoke down there on the left. That's what I'm holding on to, and you can see when I move it. So we slowly increase our speed until that needle hits about 70 knots. Right about there, and then we can pull back on the yoke, and up we go. Just gotta tilt the wings to make the airplane fly straight. And now I'm going to rotate a lever that will bring up the landing gear. See that? Yeah. Tucks into little pockets underneath the aircraft. And then I'll bring up the flaps. Can't really see that very well. All right, so now we're going to bank over here to the right. Circle around, you can see Puget Sound out there. This dial right down here tells us what our altitude is, and it's like a clock. You can see that we're almost up to 2, and that means 2,000 feet. So we're just about, right now, about 1,500 feet off the ground. We'll stay right in about this level. So it gives us a nice view of the landscape. Here we go, we're heading north. See up in the north there, those are the cranes in the port of Seattle. You may remember seeing those when you drove into Seattle all the time. There's the airport where we just took off from. Right over here is West Seattle. And I'm going to be heading right over into this area here where your house was. There's a sailboat out there, and this is the island that you guys used to go to. I forget the name of the island. Is it Whidbey Island? Not sure. This little cove here, that's where the ferry comes in. So when we get up here, what I can do is pause the aircraft and take a look around. You can do that in the simulator. It's kind of fun. You see this patch of green right here? That's Fauntleroy Park. That was right down the street from your house. All right, we're getting close. Okay, let's pause it and go outside. First, we'll take a look out the window. There we go. There's Fauntleroy Park. Here's the coast. This is where the ferry comes in over here. And I think this street here comes up. Maybe I'm a little bit... No, that's right. Yep, comes up here, curves around. If you remember that, there was a school here. Down in here is where the coffee shop was. And here's where the school was. Your school is over here somewhere. I'm not sure they're showing it here in the simulator, but they do show an indication of where this little school was. And the street that you guys lived on was this one right here, I believe, 47th Street. And of course, they don't show your exact house, but right in about where I'm circling with the arrow is where your house was. So we can continue on here. Pause that again. Here's the school. Here's Fauntleroy Park. This is the wing of the airplane. We're looking out the front window of the airplane right now. At your 47th Street. Not an exact duplicate of all the streets. If you remember, there was a street that went up this way from your house. I don't see that here, but it's pretty close. Gives you an idea. Okay. Let's keep going. Now we're going up the coastline of the Puget Sound over toward the northern part of West Seattle. You can see the point out here, and then Alki Beach. What I'll do is just circle around here. There's Alki Beach. Park there too. I remember riding a bike up this hill. And Grandpa's house is right over in this neighborhood, on top of the hill on that point. There's Seattle down there. Cranes, that port. I don't see the stadium though. It looked like they modeled the stadium in this simulator. There's a ferry boat. I will bank around here and look down, and right in about here is where Grandpa and Grandma live. There's the cliff and the road running down the hill. Port. I remember crossing over this gully. There's the road running down the hill. Remember that? You guys used to drive that all the time. So their house must be right in about where I'm circling here. You probably remember all those streets. I remember you told me how to get back to their house one time when I was lost. So there we go. West Seattle. Now let's bank around here and take a look at the city. Bring the flaps down one notch so that we can slow down just a little bit. I like those cranes. Very realistic. That's what they really look like in the real world, isn't it, Ben? Right over here is where the stadiums are, but I don't see those in the simulation. So I guess they didn't do that. You probably know what every one of these buildings is. I remember when we used to drive from the city, you'd tell us which buildings were which. Do you remember this one? Does that look familiar? Port. I don't see the Ferris wheel though. I guess they didn't include that. But they did put the Space Needle in. Let's go fly over the Space Needle. Lake Washington right there. Here on the hillside, that's the University of Washington. That's where your daddy went to school. He worked downtown here in the court building. Loop here around the Space Needle. Did you ever go up in the Space Needle? It's fun, isn't it? All right. Make sure we don't hit any of these buildings. Okay, now let's find the airport. If we take a look at our map again, now we can see KSEA is the airport. That's what we're looking for, is right down in there. So we're heading pretty much the right direction. There's the airport. We're going to be landing in runway 16C, which is the third runway over to the right. Okay, we got up a little too high, so I'm going to bring us back down a little bit on our approach. Now I can go ahead and lower the landing gear. Down. Bring ourselves around and line up the runway. Right about there. This little light down here tells me that the landing gear, that little green light tells me the landing gear is down and locked into position, which is what you want. Well, I've already got my flaps down, so I don't need to do that. Next to the runway are some little lights that actually tell me when I'm at the right angle to land on the runway. They're called PAPI lights, P-A-P-I. There's 2 red ones and 2 white ones. When they show up like that, then you know you're at exactly the right angle. I can see 1 red one, so I need to be perhaps a little bit lower.
Flaps.
Slow our speed down. There we go, there's 2 PAPI lights. Good. So I'm not going to talk now. I'm too busy landing. Just got to miss these trees. it over in the middle of the runway. There we go. Pretty nice landing. Now we'll just come down here and take an exit off the runway. Just down here in this direction. Okay, let's just taxi up to this building here. We'll park the airplane. Well, we don't need to go over there. I'm going to go over here to this little building and park the airplane. Right in front of the building. There we go. We'll put the park brake on. And we can shut the engine down by pulling back on that red lever right there. You can see the engine stops. And then we can come down here and turn all the switches off. And we can turn the battery off. Oops. And rotate the key. And the last thing we can do is open up the door and hop out. So there we are, Ben. A Cessna 210 Turbo. Nice little aircraft. I hope you enjoyed that flight over Seattle. Got a chance to see your old house, your old neighborhood. Couldn't exactly spot where your school was, but it was somewhere in that vicinity. So if you want to take another flight sometime, let me know. I'd be happy to do it. We can try different airplanes. And you can watch my videos on YouTube showing other people how to fly jets and stuff like that. Okay? So I'll see you soon. This is Grandpa Steve out.